What is up, everybody? My name is Hector Flores, host of the Insert Name FC podcast, a member of the Belly of Sports Media Network. You can find us on all things podcasting, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast fix from. You will find us there. Also find us on all social media at Insert Name FC. Pretty straightforward. This episode, 278. Jesus Christ, I'm almost giving us 500 episodes. 278. We have Jose from Golz TV coming on to talk headlines. We're going to talk about some things that, it's going to be, I would say, a slow news day when it comes to talking about footy, but it's still some good headlines nonetheless to talk about. We're talking about La Liga. We're talking about Brazilian League, a little bit, kind of, sort of, and something that's going to be happening in the Canadian Premier League that we're also touching up on. Obviously, give you guys players of the week and games to watch this coming weekend. So pretty straightforward episode. And of course, end the episode with give and go. So playing give and go. Obviously, we like to talk about this thing will let me show you. The give and go, it's a fun game, man. Go check them out. giveandgogames.com. They have actually a drinking version of this game as well. So really cool game, lots of fun, very talkative, very just good vibes and all. Just a really fun thing. So yes. But yeah, pretty straightforward. No Edward this week. Next week we'll have Edward. So hopefully we'll see. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and take a break and then go right into headlines with Jose Tellez of Golz TV. Let me tell you guys about Belly of Sports. Belly of Sports is the internet sports bar. Go ahead and check out their website, www.bellyofsports.com, to read some great articles from great writers all across the country, from hockey, baseball, golf, soccer, you name it. Belly of Sports is the premier, not your average website. All right, guys, we got headlines, and of course, joining me is Jose Tellez of Golz TV. A regular on this show from time to time, obviously.
Yes, sir.
For Kelsey's super sub title.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, Jose, how's it been, man? I know it's been a while since you've been on the pod.
Yeah, man, it's been a little bit. Bro, last time I was on here, I mean, the European seasons were in a different vibe entirely. MLS has kicked off. Liga MX has kicked off. All in all, bro, I'm not mad at how life is right now. With my teams, Dallas only lost one game so far. We're only 3 games in. I'll take that. But yeah, bro, got a lot to talk about today, so I'm excited.
Yeah, and talk about leagues that people should probably be keeping an eye on. We'll kick things off with one of the biggest. Like, this wasn't even going to be a headline, but just because this happened, it's like insane. So if you guys don't know, Cruzeiro took on Atlético. I'm not gonna be able to pronounce
Mineiro, I think it was Mineiro. Yeah.
Apparently in the Mineiro Championship final. This was a final. This was a cup final that Cruzeiro ended up winning 1-0 in the final minutes. A record-setting 23 red cards were issued. Now,
yes, sir.
I don't think it was all the players on the field, but if it is, that's just impressive. I would imagine a lot of subs were also. So let me see the count. I think definitely Cruzeiro has the most red cards because they have one more person. And it's funny though because Jorge Cayo, he scored the winning goal, and he's got a red card as well. So record saying 23 red cards. Once again, Cruzeiro ended up winning this game, and the thing on top of that is, we get more Hulk news. In case you guys forgot that Hulk is still playing professionally after leaving Russia, and now he's here in Brazil playing for Atlético Mineiro, and his highlight is just him swinging. Which, I mean, honestly, maybe this is the best publicity for him besides the whole wife's niece's whole thing. So.
Yeah. It's we don't have to drudge up that headline again, but look, I'm going to say this as a precursor before my take on it in general. Look, guys, I'm going to say it right now, right? It's not. You don't want to see like an all-out brawl like this happen all the time in football. I'm not like advocating for that. With that said, bro, this was amazing. Like only again, if there was a reason to pay attention to a league you weren't already watching, this is probably it. This is probably it. Like, and I'm not saying like I expect hockey fights like every game, but I'm saying like, dude, like if there was a headline to get me to pay attention, seeing some of the images of bro, the keeper like a UFC fighter after this game. No bullshit. Gigantic swollen head, black eye, cuts everywhere. I mean, dude, I just 23 red cards is insane. I don't know what like sparked it. I try to watch back the highlights and everything else. I know there were moments that caused all of the fighting, but I just don't get why. And again, I got to watch the league, right? The how bad the blood really was between the two teams. Yeah, they're rivals, but like I don't understand how deep that is. But it's crazy, man. Crazy way to again when everything kind of we're in a little bit of a lull right now football wise for most fans. Champions League kicks off this week. We've been waiting for it a little bit, kind of in between leagues and whatnot. So before the international break, bro, this is a crazy headline.
Yeah, and so at least what ended up, I guess, the build up to the fight to the crescendo of all this was the goalkeeper Everson, which we just mentioned, the guy that has a massive shiner to the side of his
Yeah.
head. He keeps a shot out from Pereira. Pereira is going in for a shot, and the guy literally just rolls right on him. So don't know
But
the best.
that felt premeditated. Like
That
when I
definitely
watched it
looked like.
back, yeah, I was like, he had something to say, and like he just did it, like the most like legal way he could do it on the pitch. And
Mm.
that keeper's out none of it, bro. He was just I've never seen a guy instantly just want all the smoke, throwing dropping his knees down on his neck and his head, and like there was no more playing football after that. Like literally no more playing football.
I also love that Hulk went to Instagram because that's what you have to do is you go to Instagram to address the things and the fact that his phrasing is we need to acknowledge our mistakes and learn from them is
Mm.
this is
So
like when Hulk is the voice of reason.
things have gotten bad. Things have gotten bad. Yeah, I. It's crazy how he didn't get on Instagram for the last alleged mistake he made. But I think it's yeah, bro. If he's the voice of reason, if he's virtue signaling, things have gotten pretty bad. 23 red cards is like unheard of. I've seen high red card games. I'm thinking old proper Barclays Premier League dudes like jumping cleats up at each other's knees and shins. I've seen crazy amount of red cards in the game. Have not seen 23. That's everybody plus some. That's crazy.
And then on top of that, like while all this is happening, you just have to get ready for a trophy lift
Yeah,
ceremony.
bro. That's so true. It's like, hey guys, I know we don't like each other that much, but there needs to be a guard of honor and there needs to be a champion. So
If
figure
you
it out.
get red card, do you can you not participate in the
I,
ceremony?
I have no idea how it works. I mean, bro, if they didn't, they just had staff out there. Like none of the players were actually out there. It was just like the training staff, the coaches, like just line up, guys. We need bodies. We need bodies. Wild.
Imagine you did not play at all this whole match, and like you get a red card.
Bro, trust me, there were definitely players who didn't play that just got licks in, bro. Free licks. Like they just ran onto the field and were swinging at everything. I saw a clip where one of the coaching staff was like yelling and trying to get like separate players. Players didn't give a damn, man. They literally just like not ran up on him, but like just again, it's like being in a stampede. He kind of just got like fell over, like it was almost run over. Then people were just like kicking him on the ground. I was like, dude, this is insane. Like they threw everything out the window. Think about just how unprecedented it is. Like players to just not give a damn that there's a manager across the field, that they're just free game. I mean, bro, like the refs probably like, hey, I'm not even trying to get involved in this right now. Like just back off. Don't even because they'll swing at you too. I don't see why not.
Yeah, it was a sight to see, and like this goes to show, there's the Americas is a crazy, crazy place. The Western Hemisphere, the football is just a different breed. Going to Latin America, like South America, even going to Central America, it's just I think it's one that people need to go and watch. Like I watch Salvadorian League from time to time, and it is just a joy for me because I like watching it. Did I ever expect that a game would be so hot, the system would be so hot that the system froze during a match that the clock's not working and a dude had to come out with a fan to try to cool down the electronics? And that was
It's
also my
crazy,
family's
bro.
hometown of Metapan, by the way.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. The craziest part though of all of this was I saw images of like what's that player's name? Lianco? Who,
Hmm.
bro, beat to shit, right? All over his face and showed up for training. got there,
Oh
laced the
yeah.
boots up, just goes out there, kicks the ball around. Like, bro, what an absolute warrior. An absolute warrior, bro. I want that dude on my team every day of the week. Don't care. And I want outside of the pitch too. He's part of the entourage now, bro. He's when anything goes down, he's with me. 100%. 100%. He's always down.
Oh, he has to be, man.
He's
But
Jeremy Renner in The Town. Have you ever seen that movie where legitimately, right? He's like, I just did really bad. Some people, you can't ask me shit about it. Cool. Whose car we taking, bro? Yours or
whose
mine?
car we're
Don't
taking.
say less, bro. Whose car we taking? I was like, that dude is down for anything. Like that's him, bro. He is him.
That is the perfect description to what just encompassing everything is just using the town.
Yep.
It's just the
Yep.
best thing ever. But but yeah, so
Only on
that's
Insert Name FC do you get that reference.
only in the Enter Name FC, man. This is where the jazz comes into play.
Yes, sir.
But we'll kick things off with the actual headlines that we were going for, and that is La Liga doing this really cool thing that they were gonna do for April 10th, 13th, which I believe is still gonna happen, and it's called Retro Day, which basically all the teams in La Liga will be doing a throwback. I don't know. I don't think it's actually like a going through the archives and bringing back these throwback kits or like whatever sponsors these clubs have are going to create a throwback from inspired from a previous kit. But the clubs are said to be wearing these throwbacks, which I mean already money, right? Like that's easy money for any team. I mean like when Adidas came back with the 2006 2006 style. I think Arsenal got one.
Yeah.
Real Madrid got one. Easy money day for these people, and it
Bro,
was
it
just
is.
a plain jersey. Didn't have no sponsor on it, but easy money.
It's literally, bro, and especially with these new gen fans who want to be connected to like the old days of these leagues they're discovering, bro, this is such easy revenue, like, and a good amount of revenue too, bro, because the kits in La Liga over the years have been fire, and like even with, yeah, I'll pick on your club for like a second, only because they're like the Cowboys in the sense that it's always the most basic kit of all time. It always is, just because of how like of who Real Madrid is and what they stand for, but even they have had some banger kits throughout the years. And not just recently. Like you think back to like the old like Adidas Teca kit, right? Or the early Galacticos days, even then, like the O3s, right? Like the what was that energy company? Was it no, it was a financial company. Siemens, I want to say it wasn't
Seaman
on the
Bank.
front. Yeah, Siemens Bank. All of those kits were absolute fire. But everybody, Valencia used to have crazy kits. Bilbao, Betis has a crazy amount of fire
Hmm.
kits. Of course I'm partial to Barca's kit. Even theirs back in like 2000, the navy, but the split Blaugrana on the front, like all of that, bro. It's man, easy payday if every club really locked in.
Yeah, and I mean everybody's going to be in it. I believe that the presentation's also going to be kind of throwback look, like the score bug and everything's going to be very to that era, whatever
Yeah.
era they're going at. Look, at this point, me and Jose were millennials, and we're now learning that we are now the target demographic for all
Bro, we
things.
are. We so are. We 100% are.
Like,
Yeah, bro.
I
We're
hate
we're the
that.
nostalgia. Like literally, bro. Like we're the boomers now. Like this was back in our day vibes.
Yeah, I mean, because like for my sister, she was born in like the late '70s, so I remember asking her one day. I was like, "Hey, have you noticed that commercials are just now like targeting like a lot of '90s references?" She's like, "Welcome to what it's like to be an adult," and I was like, "Fuck."
Yeah, man. It's wild. And look, I'll say this too. And someone who wants to see La Liga, not just La Liga is very successful, but I want them to see them succeed in North America, pulling in fans at scale. Bro, this is great. Like, honestly, do more of this. And I think with the Retro Day, I know every now and then, like the last couple of years, especially La Liga has been coming to the States to do watch parties for El Clasico or anything else. It really should be focused. I don't know if it's that exact weekend. I know it's like April 10th through 13th that
Yeah.
week, but I don't know if the El Clasico's that weekend. But just like building around those key events, right? And getting fans from all over the league, even in La Segunda, to participate, because some of those clubs were in La Primera
Hmm.
way back when. So yeah, man, there's so many kids you could really like. Valladolid used to be constantly there. Deportivo La Coruña, Malaga, right? Like all of these teams used to be staples at the top division. So I mean, this is to me hopefully the start of something more because I would love to see La Liga just find unique ways, bro, to especially at this time when the Prem is considered to be so boring, so pragmatic. Like this is the time to jump on fans, man. Like get them to watch something else, something new. Lamine Yamal, Vinny Jr., Mbappe, they're all in La Liga. Like, just find a way to get more fans watching this
Mhm.
league. Hopefully, this is the start of that.
No, yeah, and I mean also to point out the refs will also be wearing like a throwback referee kit, so they're going full send for this weekend. I think it's still going to happen. Unfortunately, there's some wet blankets, and those teams are Real Madrid, who basically set it up. Which I'm like, I don't know why you wouldn't want. If there's a team that loves making money, especially now that the European Super League is officially dead. Like if there's anybody that wants a money grab, it should be Real Madrid. Like your kids are gonna sell immediately, no matter what. Like because it is Real Madrid, and
Yep.
then followed by Barcelona, Getafe for some weird reason, and Rayo Vallecano are at least right now the four teams that have mentioned that they do not want to participate in this. And it would be cool if these were all playing against each other, but that's not the case because that weekend Barcelona's going to be playing at Espanyol, which
That would
Barcelona.
still be a badass like the Catalan Derby. It's gonna be heated no matter what.
Mm-hmm. It would have been cool to see both wearing a retro kit. Rayo Vallecano will be playing Mallorca, and Getafe will have Levante, and Real Madrid is playing Girona.
Yeah.
So you're gonna see one team that's participating in it, and it's gonna look so cool. And then you're gonna just see our teams with the modern kids. But there's nothing wrong with the modern kids, but it'd just be cool if they're participating.
I hope they change their minds. I really do. And again, like go back to my idea. Like, bro, think about this, right? Just a crazy Catalan Derby event in North America. You could do it down in Houston. JJ Watt has a major stake in Espanol. Make an Espanol watch party. Fuck it, bro. Let him create more fans in the Houston area as like a test. And against Barca, right? There's plenty of Barca fans down in Houston. You ain't got they'll show up no matter what. So like it becomes like really, really interesting, bro. You do more things like that. Maybe JJ leads to more investors getting involved in La Liga, and like you just start building around that for these events and growing the fan base. To me, it's so not easy, but it's such a like a no-brainer thing in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully they see that. We'll see.
Yeah, I hope so too, because I think this is a really cool thing. I think other leagues should do it. Like I would love to see the Bundesliga do it, especially with some of the amazing throwbacks that they have.
Hell yeah.
You know, Ligue 1 has some sneaky good like throwbacks, and then obviously the Premier League they should also be involved. And then on top of that, Serie A when you talk about Aro when it comes to throwbacks over there,
Bro, for real. It would
like
be the golden years of Serie A too. Could you imagine? Like the early 2000s was all Serie A. Serie A was the best league in the world. And like, bro, that generation of kits was absolutely amazing. Italy national team too, now that I think about it.
and I mean you can kind of see with MLS right, they're doing the archive kits, which I don't know if they're I don't know. I don't think the players wear them for the matches, but I know that that's something that they've been promoting, or I could be wrong.
It'd be cool. I think some teams have worn them. I've never seen like LAFC wear their archive kit. But maybe I just missed it. I'm not sure. I don't watch every LAFC game. But yeah, it'd be cool to see, I mean, shit, it would have been actually really cool if some of these teams did like Miami actually went the route of doing like the Miami Fusion. And I think the Red Bulls went the route of the New York, New Jersey Metro Stars. I'm pretty sure.
Hmm.
So yeah, again, more of these teams doing it, engaging the old heads, giving them a reason to pass some of that down to their kids, whatever it might be. As a dad myself, like yeah, bro, to me this is a really good idea. They just got to actually execute it well.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe it's a little early still to be doing throwbacks with MLS being as young as that league is. Almost my age, actually. Actually, it's almost our age. Yeah. So
Yeah. But still, I mean, how many 1.0 teams in MLS were there? 12? I mean, that right there, there's like
yeah.
12, different kits that you could roll out that are really interesting, even if the branding itself is different, like in my case with Dallas Burner FC Dallas. So I don't know, man. It's a good idea. I don't think there's any downside to it.
No, I think it's a terrific idea, hopefully, we still got time. It's early in March. Maybe maybe Real Madrid now that they accepted their loss of the European Super League, maybe then they can finally be like, hey, you know what? We like money, and this is a money making plan. Um, Speaking of teams that definitely need money, Barcelona should definitely be getting involved with this.
I mean, yeah, fair. To be fair, like it's crazy. I think both the clubs I support in Europe, I think Barca and Arsenal, they're kind of slowly being looked at like merch orgs, kind of like or merch clubs, because they push out so much merch and apparel. But yeah, I mean, if it's not this year, I think Barcelona will roll it out no matter what. It's just something they do for the fans constantly, and I think apparel is like a constant revolving door of money for them. So
I mean, you guys have that Spotify deal, which you guys get to have like some cool collaboration with some artists. So I mean, how
yeah,
crazy was it when they were with Travis Scott? I don't know if people finally got They're Travis Scott kits, by the
They
way.
did, they did. Yeah, I had my brother had actually ordered some, and I didn't because I was like, I'm not paying that kind of money for merch. I'll just wear my old shit. But he got some, and bro, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. I will say that. So, but still, I'm not dropping whatever it was, 250 for a Travis Scott jersey. That's Barca. Nah, I'm cool. I'm cool.
I
But
know
yeah,
people.
bro.
I knew people that got the hoodie. I was just like,
Oh hell no. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm good, bro. I'm good. I don't have that kind of money.
I
I
was
got a
like,
2-year-old.
I was like, bro, that's like concert prices. Like,
Just
I
goes to
still,
show.
I still hurt myself just from going to Metallica with my niece. She just
Yeah.
needed to have that hoodie. And
Hey, bro. Yeah, you only live once, but that's a crazy. I mean, look, again, if maybe they love it. Maybe I think if you wear it every day, it's probably worth the money. But or you
oh,
wear it all
she
the
does.
time.
She
Yeah,
definitely
yeah, yeah,
does. She's a teenager. It's hot. Of course, she's wearing the hoodie.
yeah.
So,
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, man. All in all, this is a good idea. I hope more leagues follow suit.
yeah, I hope so. And once again, I hope these four teams, and hopefully there's less teams that will be all in with this. This is like something a little bit different. I think this is. It's not like one of those like, oh, we all have to wear this for a certain reason. It's just like, let's have this cool like retro day. Get all into it. Let's have people dress up like the '90s, like things like that. So I think. Hey guys, this is Hector from the Insert Name FC podcast, here to tell you guys about Canada Dips. It is a great tasting, superior alternative to traditional dip, using CBD in a way that is radical, enjoyable, and effective. It comes in 5 core flavors: wintergreen, mint, citrus, mango, and American spice. Canada Dip CBD is the new evolution in dip, allowing guys to enjoy great, long-lasting taste without the downsides. If you guys want to go ahead and try them out, use the code BELLYUP20 at CanadipCBD.com. Once again, BELLYUP20 at CanadipCBD.com, and you'll get yourself 20% off your purchase. Thank you again for Canada Dips for being a great partner of Belly Up Sports. That would be. It should be really just all in all, just a cool vibe, just in general.
It should become a tradition. It really should. Like, if this works out well, there should be one day every year where, like I said, you just have the fans who have all of these old school kits show up in droves, and I don't know, man. It's a really cool thing. Again, I'm thinking about this all from the lens of like a dad, right? Bringing my kid to a Barca game or whatever. Like, it would just be cool. He's got on a new Lamine Yamal kit. I've got an old school Dino kit, whatever. Like, I don't know. It's just it's a cool experience, I think, for everybody. It literally brings all fans together when you start including the previous generations.
And on top of that, I mean, it's kid culture. I mean, it's been booming for quite some time now. Everybody's trying to not just get the current kids, but trying to go and get those throwbacks. Spending an arm and a leg over at classic football shirts to
Yeah.
to get
I dropped
those.
120 on a when was this? 2 seasons ago. The one I wore on the last episode of Wake Up MLS, that Dallas Burn kit, like a couple years ago. I didn't have that one from 90s, no, from 99. So I was like, yeah, I'm totally down. So like it's just I don't think actually I may not have worn that one yet. But either way, like yeah, bro, it's 120 for like an old school Dallas Burn kit, and I think that's pretty cheap. You probably spend a whole lot more on kits like that or any
Hmm.
other club. So I imagine those prices will go up. I imagine if this becomes like a thing, like every year that you're gonna buy this but to wear to the next like retro day. Yeah, bro, this is price about to go up. Get ready.
Definitely, yeah, for sure. Especially when I'm sure when those kits get put up for sale, it's gonna. I mean, it's like when Borussia Dortmund, when Puma came out with the blacked out kits, right? Like everyone got their Borussia Dortmund to the point where you had to settle for that Borussia Mönchengladbach one.
Yeah, that was pretty
So
clean though. I'm not gonna lie.
it was pretty clean. I should have got one. But yeah, so hopefully Retro Day is gonna be a banger, and hopefully Real Madrid and Barcelona aren't missing out on that.
I hope so. I hope
Yeah.
so.
But this is going back to Brazil. Weirdly enough, we got Felipe Luiz. So if you guys don't know, the manager of Flamengo, which under his tenure with Flamengo, with 101 matches, he went 64 wins, 22 draws, and 15 losses. On top of that, won the Copa Libertadores with Flamengo, I believe this previous season. So really good guy, 38 years old. He's very young. Obviously, I think now it's more so it's just younger managers are starting to get are getting more attractive. And I mean what he's been doing with Flamengo. On top of that, he got sacked by Flamengo, and you're probably wondering, man, maybe they're going through a slump. Maybe they're terrible right now. He got fired after an 8-0 victory.
That's wild, right?
Like
That's wild.
that's the safest I could ever think of someone at their job.
Yeah, I mean, bro, but how many games did he lose this year?
Ooh, that is a good question.
Because I'm curious about that. Like obviously, so when you told about the story originally, and I was looking into it, it's again, I know it's like a new season, but I don't know how he finished last season, what kind of leash he might have been on. But I think that there's probably also some people were, I don't know if these conspiracy theories or not. I haven't really seen sources like validate this, but there were some people going as far as saying that Blue Co was having conversations with him during his negotiations for his contract to Flamengo. And if that ends up being the case, I can see why, right? It just looks like maybe you're not the most committed to the club. Um, but I don't know if that's validated anywhere. So, and even if it was, right, I think, bro, I still think it's kind of messed up, right? Because the coaches should be evaluated on performance alone. At the end of the day, if renewal time is coming up for your contract, I think you still technically, your agent at a minimum can have contact with whoever, right? Because that's all part of the negotiation table. So I don't know, man. It's weird. It's a weird one. It's definitely a weird one. But I mean, Felipe Luis will get another job. Like that's undoubted. He's gonna get another job. I'll say it, he was a hell of a player. Um, I paid attention a lot to what he was doing at Flamengo, but I remember hearing people rave about him when he first got there. So imagine, bro, imagine he takes over for Liam Rowe Sr. at Chelsea, and that would be a crazy, crazy turn of events.
So in 2025 last season in Serie A in Brazil, he actually won. They actually won with a record of 23 wins, 10 draws, and 5 losses. In this season, which they're only 3 games in, 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss, and they're currently
Yeah,
11th place.
that's either
So,
crazy, crazy impatience, or there's a deeper story here.
and it's actually exactly what you said. It was the reason for the sacking was a breach of trust between Flamengo and Felipe Luiz because he was having secret meetings with Blue Company. And if you guys don't know, that's Chelsea. But it wasn't actually for the Chelsea job. It is actually for Strasbourg,
Yeah.
which obviously Liam Rosignor, he's now currently taking over Chelsea. I don't know where his leash is at right now, but I'm sure that 4-2 victory against Wrexham is very satisfying for somebody. but
Yeah.
um, but obviously Chelsea has become a revolving door of managers at this point, and they like investing into guys that are high potential. Obviously, what Felipe Luis has done with Flamengo is worth noting, especially over in Latin America. And he does have ties to Chelsea, so for him to come into their system, if you will, and I mean Strasbourg, I think a good league, a good situation for them. Obviously, it worked out for Liam, and just like Chelsea, they don't care what they do, what happens to Strasbourg after they deplete that team. So I think that this that's exactly what their plan was. But I guess for me, I think what was crazy is like, why wouldn't you keep Flamengo in the loop? Like, why wouldn't you let them know, like, hey, I'm meeting with Chelsea? Was there anything in the contract that he had right now that he couldn't speak to another club?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I just think he's a young manager. I think he approached it with the utmost caution, like most people do when they're potentially looking to leave an employer. Or just even like opening up those talks, right? You're like, hey, as much as I can, like until something's a little more concrete, I can see the logic in just like keeping your mouth shut and focusing on your job. Um, but putting like courtesies aside, I think one, if this is true, I think it would be a good move for him. I'm not sure. I've said it since he was hired. I don't believe Liam Rossignol is not that he's not the man for the job. He very well could be. I'm not saying you have to have been a phenomenal footballer to manage professionally, but I just think there's levels, right? And I think he's not ready, in my opinion, for the Chelsea job. I may eat my words. I may get proven wrong, but I've always felt that way. He doesn't have the CV either as a player or as a manager to coach a club that big. But I also will say that I believe Felipe Luis is actually more qualified than he is, just because he wore the badge and he played for the club and was pretty successful for the most part. Um, I think his career as a player was a little bit shorter than most fans probably wanted it to be, but he has more credentials technically. I think what Blue Co wants to see is if they were to offer him the Strasbourg job, I think they want to see what they see in Liam Rossignol, which is not just someone who's like credentialed enough to coach Chelsea, but that will also be somewhat of a yes man who will listen, right? With strategy, with signings, like whatever it might be. They want someone who is still technically an employee at the end of the day. So I think you can find that out in a lower pressure environment like Strasbourg. And you have a nice backup plan if Liam Rowe Sr. Isn't qualified for the job, like a lot of us think he's not, and gets fired. So, I think that's all part of it. But again, it's Chelsea's latest attempt to find the next Mikel Arteta. I mean, I think they're not the only one. There's a lot of clubs trying to do that. Find a younger manager with strong ideas, strong discipline, and has a passion and love for the club that they're managing because they used to be a player or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, man, we'll see. But I don't think, in all honesty, man, I don't even know how concerned he is about this because he has another job coming.
Yeah, I think with Liam, and I kind of agree. I wasn't really like excited about this edition just because I think for what like if you're not hoping to win now, which I mean, if you're Chelsea, you spend way too much money to not hope to not win. You want to win now. I don't think that Liam was the right choice. I think you need to go after a guy that has a little bit more experience, especially when you're talking about a team that spent way too much money. At the end of the day, with guys that are supposed to be high profile guys, so you need someone that can manage the players better. Which once again, I don't nothing against Liam. That's my only question for him was I don't know how he can handle all the personalities that's going to be in that Chelsea locker room,
Yeah.
which once upon a time didn't have enough locker room space to keep all the players.
I
Um,
will say this though, I think they feel good about Liam because of who Chelsea's players are now. Chelsea's players now are not the John Terrys, the Joe Coles, the Ashley Coles, the DDA Drugbas of the world. These guys were literal superstars. You have a bunch of very promising young talent. Your biggest name players are Cole Palmer, Enzo Fernandez, and what Caicedo.
mhm,
Like those are your biggest name players, and I will say that if they don't find a way to start winning consistently soon, those big names might be out the door too.
mhm.
So they're just a very young team, and I think that presents an opportunity for a younger manager like Rosenior. But I will say this: if Chelsea don't find a way now that Luis is available, if they don't find a way to step up decently aggressively and go after him, I think will be a crazy turn of events. Would be Felipe Luis getting hired by somebody else. And you know what's crazy is that I think it should be Atletico Madrid. I
Mm.
think Simeone. My opinion is that his time is up. I think that like it's starting to feel like Wenger, towards the end, where it's like I don't think he's been there that long, but you've been given so much money after your most recent success, however long ago that was. You just done nothing with it. I
Mhm.
mean, maybe it's time for fresh ideas. And I think Felipe Luis is very adored by that fan base, and they probably welcome him back with open arms.
No, yeah, I think you bring a really good point because I think Felipe Luis I think he's ready for Europe. I don't he's already conquered South America. Like there's nothing else that he needs to prove in this region unless he wants to win an MLS Cup. But like I don't really think that there's anything that he needs to prove to himself in the Western Hemisphere. I think that if a team is willing to give him a shot, maybe it's not Atletico Madrid right away. Maybe it's not Chelsea right away. Maybe a Strasbourg or maybe something like of that to showcase that he can handle the pressure in Europe. And I mean, let's be honest, like Flamengo, I just think it's a massive overreaction to sack him, only because like how many players leave Flamengo to go to Europe? I mean, this is should be the same way with managers for anybody in this side of the world. Like, unfortunately, these leagues are not the end all be all for any of these players. Like, these guys have aspirations to go to play in the highest competitions in Europe, and so I think for Flamengo, and obviously, if you guys don't know, I have like personal beef with Flamengo because of an academy whole thing. So like, I have my own personal problems with them. But on top of this, like like you're gonna lose people. You're gonna have play. You're gonna. That just shows more about how well you guys develop. Not only players but managers as well. Like how you could provide some sort of nurturing environment. I don't. I tend to disagree with that, but as I was almost close to throwing. Speaking of throwing hands with Brazilians,
With Brazilians, yeah.
I was almost in that scenario.
It's a pretty relevant topic today.
So yeah, like I think it's crazy that Flamengo was even remotely offended by this because I mean, how many of their players are they about to lose because of just how good they are when it comes to developing talent?
Yeah, I agree. Um, yeah, we'll see what I mean. To me, this is you're right. This is a massive overreaction. If that ends up, I think even I'll be honest, even with the discussions he might be having on the side, again, even then, considering the success he had, this is like This is like winning a Premier League title and then getting fired because you lost the Community Shield the next season. Like it's like what are we doing?
Hmm.
Like there's just some battles worth fighting for. This one is not it. Like and even then, bro, like let's say the trust was broken, you know he's a good manager. So if you're in the front office, that your biggest priority is success of the club. So it's not like keep him on just to keep him on. Like yeah, shop around, go look for a manager just like he's shopping around for himself, just in case. You never know, right? Or have a plan to do it. But just to do it and to leave the team with this feeling of being punched in the gut by this move, I don't know, man. It destabilizes things more than it fixes them, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Especially after a year that you essentially won a double. You
Yeah.
know, Copa Libertadores, and on top of that, you won the Brazilian League. So
Yeah, so Premier League it's like winning Prem and Champions League and then losing and then losing the Community Shield and you got fired. It's wild.
yeah, it's like winning the Club World Cup and then getting fired like months later.
Ironically enough, Chelsea would know about that. It's crazy, crazy.
What a world we live in. And speaking of a world we live in, so obviously Jose, you and me, we have our familiarity with the great Arsène Wenger, and we just mentioned
Mm,
Arsène Wenger a little bit when you were talking about Diego Simeone,
yep.
and now he's kind of taken over as I guess the ambassador for FIFA for some reason. Like I don't know where that where that came from, but hey, a job is a job. So
Yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, I don't know, man. Arsene Wenger, it's crazy. How old is he?
definitely in the 70s, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy that again, like nothing against old people, guys. Nothing against old people, but at some point, it's like, look, I mean, when are like these ideas are great and whatnot, but like, when are we going to let modern minds bring football into, the next generation? I You can already tell how I feel about what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. I mean, Wenger has definitely had some interesting ideas. I think he proposed having a World Cup every 2 years. God no. Um,
Nah,
and some other things. But I will say, and me and Jose might be on two different sides when it comes to this discussion, but he has been dropping it. He's been constantly been vocal about changing the offside rule that we've had in football. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the rule offside, like if you're Ted Lasso, unless you figured it out near the end of the season, which is obviously when an attacking player is ahead of the defender by any margin, they are considered offside. That's pretty straightforward. I don't think there's anything else besides to that. Now, I will say it is crazy when a player is offside by a pinky or in the World Cup, in the last World Cup, a booty cheek. So like,
yeah, yeah, facts. Or if you're a Burnley fan, by a fucking toe that took 10 minutes to review.
so
Wild.
yeah, I will say the offside rule isn't necessarily the most perfect rule, but it is a rule that we're all familiar with, especially if you're in the world of football. The thing I kind of can't stand right now is how long it takes to figure out whether or not the player's offside, which causes to have matches with A+ stoppage time. That's the only thing that's my biggest gripe with it. It should be clear and concise, which once again that is also opinion based, which is VAR is also another conversation that I could probably spend hours on, but I'm not trying to do
Facts. Facts.
that. But obviously, Arsene Wenger's new rule, his new offside rule, is called the daylight rule, and the daylight rule essentially is pretty straightforward. That the attacker is offside is if there's space or daylight between the last defender. So basically, if the attacker is completely ahead of the defender, then he should be ruled offside. So not by a body part, which the thing I will agree with this is that I do feel like what the hell is a pinky gonna what advantage do I have with a pinky? But like I don't know about fully being ahead of the defender. I think that's a full advantage. Like I think but I don't know. Where
Yeah.
you stand at the proposed daylight rule?
Bro, I honestly I don't agree at all. I have my own problems so far. Do not get me wrong. Like for all the reasons that you just said, but all this will do is create the inverse of that. Now it's like, was he on by a pinky instead of off? There's gonna be moments where that toe was like barely touching or barely in line with the line of the defender, and it's like, was he actually on or offside? And that's all it's going to do is it's going to change something for the sake of changing it. And the crazy part about it is if you think about how a lot of teams play in the modern game, which when I say that, a lot of teams press these days. Some teams have an insanely high press. like Barcelona, for example. And Barcelona's not the only ones. They probably have one of the craziest high lines, but there's plenty of teams that throw everybody forward for the sake of pressure. And what you do with this now is you can't run high lines anymore. You
Mm-hmm.
just can't. You're like, what you're gonna do is you're gonna force everybody to set up in a mid block and have a safety net with their back line because technically anybody can be onside by the thinnest of margins. Anybody. Yeah. So, they're almost their entire body could be ahead of you, but if their foot's right there, in line, they're onside. So you can't run a high line. Barca would be cooked.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. You know how many times you get saved by that line?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just you can't do it anymore. So, in my opinion, you make the game even more somehow structured, pragmatic, and technically less exciting when you think about what happens in the modern game with high pressing, all while just creating the inverse of the problem that we have now.
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at righteousfelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
So, to me, I wouldn't change the rule. In fact, I would go backwards. If maybe that's an old head of me talking, but I literally would go away from VAR except for very specific instances, and I would not apply this rule. Part of me really hopes the Canadian Premier League sees a ton of controversy with this. I really do. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that those fans are frustrated as hell with this rule because I do not want to see it come to any other league.
Yeah, and so and Canadian Premier League is going to be the guinea pig for this, which is pretty fitting. So if you guys don't understand, like whenever a new rule is proposed in any sport, they usually test it out with what you would consider the lower league. So like for instance, I'm just going to use baseball because that's something I'm very familiar with. They introduce the robotic umps, the robotic referees, right, to make sure that a strike is going to be a strike and a ball is going to be a ball. Right, and so obviously they're not going to test it in Major League Baseball because people are going to be angry. So they tested it out in the minor leagues, and if it's great, cool, we'll use it in the next season. If not, they just like, all right, let this die. So I think also the other thing is for Arsène Wenger, I guess his defense, this is gonna increase scoring, right? Or at least it should increase the probability of scoring, which for some reason some people think that the sport is too low scoring. Okay,
This is not going to fix that, though. That's the only thing is that this is not going to fix it. Like, what you have to think about is not the opportunities that are possible. You have to think about like what's most likely to happen, which is you think about any time the game is shifted, whether it was a tiki-taka got introduced, all the way fast forwarded to like the haram ball Arsenal's playing. Everybody copies each other, and there may be 1 year where there's plenty of attacking football that stems from this, but once teams adjust, it is going to be the slowest form of football we've seen in 20 years because nobody wants to get beat now. No, the verticality threat almost goes away because there's just going to be too many teams trying to counter it. While I guess maybe pressing only their front line, they really won't be pressing as complete of a unit as they used to. So I don't know, man. I think it's a big risk to think about introducing this. I would love Arsene Wenger to explain to me how this isn't simply just the inverse of what we have today.
No, yeah, and look, and this is coming from a Real Madrid fan. Like as someone that is very frustrated at a certain nine, that's not a nine. That all he has to do is just time his runs a little bit better. He would be able to expose the stupid highline, but he doesn't, and he always gets caught offside. Which that's where the highline works. And it is frustrating, but I think for me, like, are there things that I agree with the daylight rule? Yes, but I don't believe the player should be fully ahead of the defender. I think that's too much of an advantage. Like, to me, I would say like even like 50%, but that once again we're going into opinion-based discussions, which on this point the referee, I can't give him anything of a chance of an opinion. So like I want things to be as straightforward, and right now the rule is as straightforward as it can be. If there's any part of the player's body that's ahead of the defender, he's considered offside. And so I think like if we try to do this daylight rule, could it increase probability of goal scoring? Probably, but probably not either. Like, I mean,
Yep.
once you got to put it in the back of the net at the end of the day. Like, I mean, I don't necessarily think that this rule is going to help. We'll see what happens. I mean, for anything, this now just gives us a reason to watch the Canadian Premier League. So
Yeah, maybe that's the benefit. Who knows, man? And if that's the greatest value it serves, it brings to this world, I'm ecstatic. I'm absolutely ecstatic. So I love Wenger. Don't get me wrong, had a lot of ideas that changed this game for the better, but this ain't one of them.
it's not. And I honestly, man, like some of his recent ideas have not been the best. So,
Yeah.
maybe just be focused on being a grandpa. Like I'm sure he's a grandparent. Like I really I don't want to assume things about a guy, but I want to believe that he is a grandfather. Like I hope he has kids, and I hope they have kids.
Enjoy
So
family time, man. Enjoy family
yeah,
time.
like
And your legacy is not going anywhere. It's here. You don't have to worry about adding anything more to it.
you're still beloved. Like people like you. Like there's no one that's gonna. Okay, well maybe there's some people that don't like you,
Yeah,
but
fair.
I think that you're fine. There's no need to, when if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't think offside has been an issue. I think VAR is a more massive issue. I think that needs to be addressed a little bit better.
Agreed.
But the offside rule, I think, is pretty straightforward. It's almost as black and white as it can be. Like
Yep.
honestly, there's nothing, like there's no opinion based things like a handball where there's context matters when it comes to a handball now these days. So like I think that this is one of those rules that maybe doesn't need to be addressed. I don't think offside has ruined the game by any means. So I think that this is like one of those like not a serious issue. What the real issue is that there's just too much time being wasted on these VAR reviews, which I know I
Yep.
just said review on the acronym that has review.
It's almost like things need to be clear and obvious. It's crazy. It's crazy how that works.
Yeah, and I love how
Um,
JJ Watt called it out, and then people were like, "Shut up, dumb American."
yeah, exactly, bro. And while we have that mentality, mainly in the UK, because they literally shit on anybody who has any bright or new ideas ever. Yeah, bro. Like it's that like what he said. Like decision making needs to be always from the lens of clear and obvious. Because if it's not, you're just re-reffing the game, and that's not what this tech is for. Same thing with this. Again, you're just re-reffing the game. You're changing up how we view an already controversial rule. So just why are we adding more controversy to it? Just let's try to make do with what we have, or even go backwards with the tech. Just because tech advances doesn't mean it always has to be applied to football.
Yeah, there was a rule that was introduced in La Liga, and that was where the managers are allowed to have like a review of an incident, whether it was like a foul or an offside rule or something like that. Which I'm glad that I have yet to have seen that ever be used so far, because me and Edward were both like on the same page where that was the dumbest fucking thing anybody could ever do. Sorry for cussing Kelsey, but like it's just one of those things where we're just like, why are we doing this? And the first thing me and him both said was like, you're just gonna add more time to the game. Like like I'm not saying I want the match end at 90. That's not what I'm saying. But when you look at when I look at the stoppage time and I see like +7 for stoppage time, I'm just like, from what? Like what? Like I want to know the algorithm of what these referees are looking at to concise to like, yeah, give them 12 minutes of stoppage time. Like it's just
Yeah.
it gets unreal at some point. And like I think VAR needs to be looked at more, because I think that that's what's costing a lot of time. People can say about the time wasting the players do. That shit has I think that that's different. Like I mean,
And it's been around forever. You're not going to change that. You're not going to change players being strategic with time management. You're just not. Like, people get mad about it all you want. They get mad because it's Arsenal. I mean, I've heard the same complaints about Dibu Martinez at Villa, which I massively complain about even as an Arsenal fan. Bro, you go back to like the 80s World Cups. Maradona did it a shit ton with Argentina. Don't hear anybody bring that up. It's been around for decades, man. It's just part of the game. You're never going to remove that. Doesn't matter what rules or tech you put in place. You're not going to really remove that.
MLS tried to fix it. That didn't happen. So
Nope.
I mean,
You're
like,
just not going to, bro. Like, and if anything, you shouldn't. It's what makes football football. It's a chess match. All factors incorporated. I'm sorry that it sucks that you have to deal with set pieces, or that you have to deal with, the various rules, the offside rule, as an example. These are just parts of the game. Like, you either want to be all about football and really embrace it, or as a team, or you don't, and that's fine. But like, like literally changing rules so that I don't know, bro. It can be. it can be, I don't know, more entertaining, more fun to watch in theory. All of that's BS, man. You know what it reminds me of? Again, this is my last little reference that probably has nothing to do with what this audience listens to or watches, but I'm a massive watcher of the Call of Duty League. I watch a lot of pro gaming, and in that league, just so everybody knows, Call of Duty in general, for players to play competitive, they basically have to do what's called a gentleman's agreement, a specific set of guns and maps and stuff like that, because they're not like competitive. There's no skill to them. They wouldn't add any value technically. But then what happens when you start doing that? Players start raising their hands to GA everything, every gun. So that the only guns you can play with are like one or two guns that everybody on the map has, and the rules are super vanilla and dry, and it's not as fun to watch anymore. Like at some point, bro, you just have to realize that what you had was pretty good, and not everything has to create a completely level surface area, level starting point for every team. You just don't. It doesn't have to be that way. Like some teams are just gonna be better than others because they're better exploiting some of the loopholes in the rules, and that's part of football. That's why we watch.
Yeah, but I mean don't hate the player, hate the game.
Facts.
That's just point blank. Jesus Christ, I can't say words right now.
No, but it is, bro. 100%.
It is, and I mean, like these are things that like the shithousery at the end of the day is not something that's the biggest issue. What's the issue is that the time wasting that these officials think that we need just to make sure that it is in fact a yellow card, or the things that piss me off is when they're checking an offside call that shouldn't take that long, but it's taking for some reason 20 minutes to review this thing. To me, that's really that's ruining the game for me, because especially for these guys, like they've been playing in the game, now they got to stop and hope that they can still be warm enough to continue playing. It's frustrating. VAR is the big problem for me. It's not the offside rule.
Yeah, I agree. So, look, man, we'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, I am praying for this rule to fail.
Yeah. Well, watch the Canadian Premier League and we'll see what happens.
I'll be locked in.
Yeah, just whenever Vancouver and Toronto and Montreal decide to switch over to that league as well.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens
when it's convenient.
But Jose, obviously, it's always a pleasure to have you on. It's always great conversations with you. Tell the people, man, what's going on with Golz. I know you guys got a lot of attention recently. So
that we did. Always ebbs and flows with Golz. But yeah, man, just more content, bro, coming to the channel. So Golz TV on YouTube, go check us out. GOLZ TV. Eric has had some bangers lately in good and bad ways. I say bad only because of the sentiment, but at the end of the day, people are pissed about everything, so it's okay. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out the channel. You'll see. But outside of that, bro, MLS is back up and running. So we got obviously a ton of content for that. USL's back up and running. So Riley and the USL and the United Soccer Lounge are up and running too. He's going on the road for that series here pretty soon with some big weekends coming up. So yeah, man, summer's about to be here, guys. It's the summer of content, especially with the World Cup coming. So some other interesting stuff's coming to the channel. Stay tuned. Other than that, I appreciate you, Hector. This is fun, man.
Always. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and take a break, then go into Players of the Week.
I love soccer, Peggy.
All right, guys. Players of the Week is brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is an amazing ticketing site app. However you get your podcast, your tickets for live events, like concerts or sporting events, SeatGeek has you covered. Me and Edward, we love the simplicity of SeatGeek. It has a very simple grading system using colors and numbers. If the number is super high and the color is super green, that means for those seats, for that event, it's a great deal. Go ahead and buy them. Obviously, if it's the opposite, the score is very low and very red, that means keep scrolling through the app. You're going to find a better deal. And we love the simplicity of SeatGeek. And if you're not sold just yet, use that code BellyUpSports for first-time users, and you'll save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek, life's an event. We have the tickets. All right, so my player of the week is Maximilian Bier, who scored a goal and assist in Borussia Dortmund's 2-1 win against FC Cologne. I mean, look, a victory is a victory, and this helps them out. You just got to hope that there's some outside factors coming in when it comes to Bayern Munich. But this is a good way to bounce back after losing their Klasser. And Edwards' player of the week is Omar Marmoush, who scored 2 goals in Manchester City's 3-1 victory versus Newcastle United in the FA Cup. 2 really solid performances, very impactful for their teams. Obviously for Man City, on to the next round of the tournament, and for Dortmund, trying to stay afloat in the stay afloat in the Bundesliga, staying up top in the Bundesliga. So those are players of the week. Once again, guys, use that code BellyUpSports at checkout and save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek, Live Cement, we have the tickets. And of course, make sure you guys check it out yourself. And for any live event that you want to attend, now we'll go ahead and segue into games to watch.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
All right, guys, games to watch this weekend. We got in Mexico, we got Toluca versus Atlas. We got Pumas and Cruz Azul in Mexico. In Major League Soccer, we have the San Jose Earthquakes taking on the Seattle Sounders. Now, I'm putting this game in for one reason only, and that's because John Rivera of Golz TV, well, not Golz TV, but of Wake Up MLS, keeps trying to talk about how San Jose Earthquakes are a formidable team. I do not believe they're good until they beat a good team. And Seattle Sounders, give or take, are doing really well right now. So, the reason why... So, San Jose currently are 3-0. But they have beaten the likes of Montreal. I believe DC United they also beat. And they just beat Philadelphia Union, which you would think Philadelphia Union is a good team, but they have been dog water this season. So, once again, until they beat somebody formidable, and then also, so they beat Sporting Kansas City 3-0, they beat Atlanta United 2-0, and they just beat Philadelphia Union 1-0. Sporting Kansas City is not a good team. Atlanta United doesn't look great. So, and Philadelphia, it was a close game. Philadelphia should be a good team, but they have not been good at all this season so far. And it's still early. But with that being said, Seattle, on the other hand, are decent, right? So they beat Colorado, they lost to Real Salt Lake, and they just beat St. Louis, which maybe not the biggest flex in the world, but it's a team that I would say probably would provide a challenge to San Jose. So, John Rivera of Golz TV is, for some reason, just sipping on the Kool-Aid a little too hard on San Jose. If San Jose beats Seattle, let me see a matchup that if it's not, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not the most confident in Seattle, but let's see who they have next. All right, so they're gonna be tested in these next matches. So they have Seattle. So Seattle, out of those teams, the next three matches, including this one, is probably like their easier matchup, because then they have to go up against Vancouver, and then they have to go against San Diego. So if they can come out, and I'm not saying they have to win them, but if they can come out and have like good matches in those three games, I'll eat my words and I'll admit. But if they look as mortal as I think they are, I'm gonna talk so much shit to John. That's all I'm gonna say. Sorry for cussing, Kelsey. I'm gonna talk so much fucking shit because he's been hyping this team up and it's fucking stupid. So I'm really ready to hear. I can't wait. I really want. I am fucking petty. I don't care. Sorry for cussing, Kelsey. I am petty. So yes, I am going to be a dick to John Rivera. So if that does not happen, okay. So if San Jose, so like I said, next three games for San Jose is Seattle, Vancouver, and San Diego. If San Jose can have, well, let me see, what would be respectable? Because I feel like they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose to someone. So if San Jose can get 5 points, I'm gonna say that if San Jose can get 5 points against Seattle in the span of these three matches, against Seattle, in the span of these next three matches versus Seattle, versus Vancouver, and versus San Diego, if San Jose can collect 5 points from these three matches, I will shut the fuck up, John. That's all I'm gonna say. But if they don't, I'm going to be a complete total dick to you. That's all I'm going to say. Sorry for cussing, Kelsey. So, let that sink in. All right, in Ligue 1, we got AS Monaco taking on Brest and Stade Rennes taking on Lille. Should be some good matches there in Liga. In the Bundesliga, we got Bayer Leverkusen taking on Bayern Munich. So yeah, Bayern Munich looking to get some separation and possibly be lifting another Bundesliga trophy by the end of by April. We'll see what happens. We got VfB Stuttgart taking on RB Leipzig as well. Should be a good matchup as well. In the Serie A, we got Inter Milan taking on Atalanta. The Milan derby just kicked off, so we'll see what happens in this one. But Inter Milan does have a good lead so far. In La Liga, we got Atletico Madrid taking on Getafe. And Real Betis taking on Celta Vigo. So some good matches there. And in the Premier League, we got Chelsea taking on Newcastle United. And Manchester United taking on Aston Villa. So, of course, these are not all the matches that are being played this weekend. But if you need a good beginner's guide, I think we gave you guys some good matches to keep an eye on. So, with all that being said, man, those are the matches. We're going to take one last break, and then we're going to go into closing the show up, but also playing Give and Go. So, be ready for that.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at Belly Up Sports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, but you can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets.
All right, guys. Give and Go is this awesome card game that is kind of like just all about getting the conversation going. It is an awesome game that I got to play plenty of times now on this podcast, but also, like I said, Golz TV, we did like a live stream, and we played many of these cards, almost like half the deck we played. So some of the questions that are on this, so some of these things are actions, so like pretending that you're limping off, and then some of the things are like, you know, just nostalgia questions, things that you want to talk about when it comes to the beautiful game, and kind of your perspective on it. But so Give and Go, every card tells a story. What's yours? Give and Go is the ultimate soccer card game packed with trivia challenges and conversation starters that bring fans together. With 3 game-changing categories, it's designed to get everyone talking, laughing, and reliving their favorite footy moments on the couch, at the pub, or wherever the game takes you. Wherever you go, Give and Go. So, once again, not at all a sponsor of us, but go check out Give and Go Games so you guys can see what's going on over there. There's actually a drinking version of this game. Once again, we're not at all sponsored by this, so Give and Go. Just saying, Give and Go. Just saying. But all right. So I always pick out 3 just in case, because like I have done some of these questions already. If not here, then on Golz. But all right. So first, can't do that one. Can't do that one either. So, all right, that narrowed it down. Okay. Tell us about a game you wish you could have back. Ooh. A game that I wish we could have back. That's a... I don't know if I should go to all time or I should go recently. But a game that I wish I could have back. There's so many games that I could think of. Wow, that's that's a game that I wish I could have back. Wow, man, Um. There's so many games. But it's like I don't necessarily like. The thing is with me because like if I can have it back, like because I mean like I've always accepted the result, right? Like that was always the thing with me. But a game I wish I could have back. Honestly, man. Wow. Like the most recent one, and the one I can think of, the one I think of right away is unfortunately, I know, I'll say it was last year's Copa del Rey final, between Real Madrid and Barcelona. The reason why I would want that back is because like, that was like Real Madrid's best shot at lifting a trophy that year. It ended in a way that like obviously was not a good look for Madrid because of how embarrassing that they not only how embarrassing the performance was for Real Madrid, but just how they acted at the end of the match. Like it obviously was a hostile game. The referees did not have control of that game to begin with. But obviously Rudiger throwing an ice cube at the referee, which I thought was hilarious, but I think it just showed like the lack of maturity that locker room had, and honestly could have been clear signs of what this team was going to be in years to come. And so if I were to pick a match, I wish that game would have ended differently. I think one, it would have been a great send off for Carlo Ancelotti to have had some silverware once again. Maybe that changed the attitude of the team before going into the Xabi Alonso era. Things like that. But that's as most recently I can think of if I can take. Honestly, that would be that, or just any time El Salvador lost to like Honduras. Like I want that back because honestly, it might be an El Salvador one because I believe there was a group stage match in the Gold Cup where all El Salvador had to do was just, I don't even think they needed to beat Honduras. They just needed to draw with Honduras and they were going to move on to the knockout round. So it's that Copa del Rey final or anytime El Salvador should have beat Honduras. That's probably where. Well, honestly, that game El Salvador probably shouldn't have beaten Honduras. But anytime El Salvador loses to Honduras, I also hate that one. But yeah, it could go either way. But specifically, I think for me, it is that Copa del Rey final. As fun as that was, as exhilarating. Like honestly, if I wasn't a Madridista, that would have been a very enjoyable game to watch, just because of how dramatic that game was, how intense that game was. But as a Madridista and having to honestly probably like, I won't say the most embarrassed I was as a Madridista, but definitely an embarrassing way that the players acted at the end. But yeah, I think that's where I will go. I'm gonna say last year's Copa del Rey final, even though it was a great final. But obviously it would be much better if it ended with a Real Madrid victory. So that's where I'm going with. If you guys want, man, tell us if there was a game you could take back, what would it be? Could be a personal game you've played, maybe a game as a fan that you just really wish you could have back. It's there for you to mention. So go in the comments, tell us right now. But thank you so much for listening to episode 248. I want to give a shout out to Belly Up Sports, man. Check out their website, bellyupsports.com. Follow them on YouTube, Belly Up Sports. Lots of podcasts that are dropping over there on their YouTube channel, man. Check out the highlight shows. Check out all the other great shows that are over there at Belly Up Sports. Follow them on X and Instagram at Belly Up Sports, so you can see all the cool stuff they're doing. They're being very interactive right now on their social media. Please participate. And obviously, World Cup, we're less than 100 days away, so you're going to start seeing some videos from me and Kelsey, kind of getting you guys hyped for the World Cup as well. But yeah, can't wait. Yeah, it's gonna be a busy couple of months, man. But yeah, follow them on X and Instagram at Belly Up Sports. Follow them on YouTube at Belly Up Sports, so you can see all this stuff. Also check out the website. Lots of articles always being written over there, so go ahead and check them out. Golz TV, man, follow them on X, Golz_TV, and on Instagram at Golz.tv. Always busy over there at Golz. They just dropped a video that I was in, not unfortunately, but that we were talking about Lionel Messi's villain arc. If you guys want to actually watch it, or just read the comments and just have a load of fun with that. But yeah, check that out, man. Follow them on YouTube at Golz TV. Just search them up over there. You'll see me from there from time to time on their original programs like Wake Up MLS. And I'll be there from time to time for some other stuff as well. So make sure you guys be on the lookout for that. And of course, Roosevelt Spencer. If you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, you probably hear some really cool beats. Well, you hear beats in general if you listen to the episodes, though, especially in the ad reads as well. Those beats are done by none other than by Roosevelt Spencer. Spencer does some beats also for Belly of Sports as well. So if you guys are trying to get into podcasting, trying to get into YouTube, or trying to get into music in general, man, copyright sucks. So if you guys not want to deal with the copyright issues, well, hit up Spencer on Instagram at ThatGuyDope. Once again, at ThatGuyDope, and he will take great care of you like he always does with us. Just shoot him a message, let him know that, hey, the guys at Insert Name FC have sent us over. Please help us out. We need some beats, and he will take great care of you like he always does with us. We guarantee you. We love Spencer so much that he is the namesake of the Roosevelt Spencer Player of the Year Award. So that should tell you everything about this guy. So with all that being said, man, thank you so much for listening to 248. Catch you next week for 249 when Edward should be back, and we'll be talking some more footy. So thank you so much for listening. Take care, guys.